Oh, hi, Sarah. Thank you so much for meeting with me and answering some questions about your work with Calling in the One coaching with me. And
Yeah, happy
we,
to do it.
yeah, we just finished your 7 week beautiful journey of Calling in the One. And what are some of the shifts that happened during these 7 weeks of working with me?
It's really funny because I have changed so much. I don't even remember who I was before all this happened. So I do know that one of my best friends, we've been really close for 10 years. She she has read the book, but she did it on her own. And we were having lunch today and she's like, your energy is so different. And so I took that as a good thing. Um, I think the biggest thing for me was, I've done a lot of work over the course of my life to kind of unpack my crazy childhood. And I got to a point where I felt like there was this thing that was standing in the way, and it didn't really of me having like a deep, loving, soul fulfilling relationship. And I didn't really understand what that was. And so through all those synchronicities where I found out that you were a coach and I'd heard about the book from her, it was just like, of course I have to do this work. So I can't believe so much can change in 7 weeks. Like just understanding what it was that caused me to build up walls and um actively, you know, disengage from potential partners. Like the way people describe it is that I do this.
Mm.
And so I didn't know what this was and I didn't know where it came from and I couldn't recognize it but I knew they were right. So it was just really good to kind of go over some of the stuff from my childhood and understand how it relates to me being in the kind of partnership that I want and the walls that were still there and the protections that were still in place and understanding that they were all emanating from my 5-year old, which is like not who we want in charge in a mature adult love relationship. Um, so that was like even though the first 3 weeks were excruciating, I felt like they were really really important because it helped me kind of dig up what was in the dark under the earth that was keeping me from having the kind of relationship that I really yearned for. And then the other huge thing I think that happened was um I realized that I had developed this persona that I came to call the cool girl. And the cool girls, she's cool, right? And we're cool, we're good, right? So again, it was kind of my way of protecting myself, but it also kept people at an arm's length, right? And so um I made a little cool girl doll out of paper and I burned her and I don't ever want to see her again.
Mm-mm.
Um because she keeps me from being the authentic goddess that I am, and she was a huge protection and I don't need her anymore. So I was really happy to release her and let her go. And it's really funny because this guy that I had a crush on, we haven't talked in like a year, comes out of nowhere and gets in touch with me. I'm like, hmm.
That's the
So
thing that happens. Yep.
I know. So I'm very curious to see who else drops into my universe um on the other side of having done this work. But yeah, I just feel really different about I feel way more optimistic
Mm.
that I can have the kind of relationship that I really deeply desire. I felt for a long time that what I wanted wasn't possible, that it
Mm.
was a fantasy. And it wasn't like I was looking for Ken, because I'm not Barbie, right? But I just felt like, maybe those men aren't out there. And, I've already tripped across one of them and, we've developed a really, really close friendship. And who knows where that relationship is going, but I'm just open to it. And yeah, we'll see if this other guy picks up the phone and calls me. And
Mm,
so I feel better about myself. I feel better about the prospects for me actually landing the kind of relationship that I really, really want.
mm,
And I'm super clear. Well, even clearer. I think I was always pretty clear about like who I am and what I want, what does and doesn't work for me. But because I was like, had my leather jacket on with the cool girl, there was a lot of stuff that I wasn't saying or I was just letting slide. And again, that's not going to get me where I want. So I I'm really glad I went through this process. I'm really glad I went through it with you
mm.
because left to my own devices, I probably would have gotten through week 2 and said, "Oh my God, this is brutal," and like burn the book. But so for me, it was super, super helpful to like be accountable to you and to be meeting every week, even though the first 3 weeks were brutal. Um, so
But
it's just good to
what's
be
beautiful
accountable. Yeah.
about, like, even though week 2 and 3, yeah, the first 3 weeks are the most brutal because it's when you're looking at your childhood, you're looking at the parenting you received. But what's beautiful about working with the coach, right? And working with a Reiki master coach, we did some Reiki during that time too, and that really helped to, you know, ease the process a bit. So yeah, I was happy that I was there to be able to do that for you. So
Oh
thank
yeah. Yeah, that night that we met and I burned all those little paper dolls, it changed everything,
you. Mhm.
you know. Just there was so much that I released that night and then I knew that I was getting the support of the Reiki and so that just shifted all the negative energy out of my body, out of my heart, out of my space.
Yeah.
So it was like the double whammy effect, right? So
And
burning
you had
burning it down,
physical.
but also having a list of like what I'm embracing,
Mhm.
so I look at that list a lot.
Yeah, that's an important one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was such an honor being on this beautiful journey with you. If you had a best friend who was like, I'm kind of like on the fence, I'm not sure about doing this work with Kristen, like what would you tell them?
Oh my God, I would grab them by the collar and say, do it. Because, like I said, the first couple of weeks were really hard and they were painful. And I knew it was very necessary work. And I'm really, really glad I did that work. And, I've done a lot of work unpacking my childhood, but there's something about the way the exercises are and the way she crafts her story um that just made me see it through a different lens and that was really really helpful. And I'm really glad I did this over the summer because summer is the time when you just want to um you know get out there and grow stuff. And now I'm kind of heading into the autumn and looking at what I want to take from the fields and what I
Mm,
want to leave behind. So yeah, I just would say to anybody that's on the fence, just do it.
mm,
Just do it. Commit to commit. You're going to be in a completely different place in a very short period of time. Like, I can't believe all of this change happened in 7 weeks,
right?
And it's so funny because I was just walking through this building the other day. I'd gone to an appointment and there were like two men in the lobby. And I just like walked by them and they were both like, I was like, it. So it's just funny how like I'm carrying myself differently
Hmm.
and men are responding to me differently.
Hmm.
They may have, you know, checked out the cool girl, but they weren't gonna like ask the cool girl for a date.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. And it was my honor to do this work with you. And I send you so much love. And
Thank you.
authentic goddess always trumps the cool girl. 100.
That's right.
Thank you.